Hey Virgo rising. Let's take a look at how May's astrology will be impacting your zodiac. So, there are a lot of changes occurring this month. We are shifting gears, moving into a new cycle. We have Pluto going retrograde. We got a full moon in Scorpio, which you already know is going to be very intense. We got a lot of Gemini energy and Saturn changing signs. So let's get into all of that. Kicking off with May the 4th, where Pluto goes retrograde. Now, Pluto is currently in Aquarius. It's just settling down in Aquarius in your 6th house, which rules over work, daily life, habits, how your lifestyle is structured, health, wellness. This is also the area of life that rules over being of service to others. So with the 6th house and Pluto in here, there's a lot of deep focus here, a lot of transformation that is occurring in this area of life. And when Pluto goes retrograde on May the 4th, and it's going to be in retrograde for a good couple of months until October the 13th, there's getting even more deeper, going even more into the unconscious, the underworld, the shadows, anything that needs to be released, anything that needs to be detoxed, anything that needs to be a purge. There is a slowing down in this area of life, although Pluto is already a very slow energy. It takes its time. It takes a lot of time. I mean, for example, Pluto is going to be in an Aquarius for the next 20 years. So a lot of going into the shadows of this area of life, which means coming to some deep, profound realizations, understanding yourself much more in regards to the themes of the 6th house. Definitely with the 6th house, there is going to be a change or a lot of focus on work, your lifestyle, and wellness. It won't impact everyone at the same time, because of course everyone's chart is unique, but take a look at if you have anything in early Aquarius, and take a look at if you have anything aspecting Pluto, so anything in Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio. If you do, especially if you have anything from 0 to 4 degrees of the fixed signs, this will impact you the most. Moving on, May the 10th, we have Mercury, the planet of communication, changing signs and entering Taurus. So when Mercury enters Taurus, it will move into your 9th house. Mercury is very grounded and graceful in Taurus. It's very calm and composed, and for you it's impacting the 9th house of travel, of foreign places, of the mind, learning, philosophy, spirituality. So there's a lot of focus there, a lot of moving around. Mercury is a very traveling type of energy, so whether that's traveling through the realm of the mind or actually physically traveling, that is a manifestation of Mercury entering the 9th house. However, when Mercury does enter the 9th house, enters Taurus, it will be impacting Pluto in the 6th house and Mars in the 12th house. This could really bring up some triggers or frustrations. That's something to be mindful of, especially getting into any type of power struggles or ego battles with other people, because it's going to be very intense. But other than that, and by the way, those triggers and any type of frustration just gives you more insight of what to work on, what to transform, and where releasing or where shifting and changing energy is needed, where balance is needed. But other than that, Mercury's very happy in the 9th house, and in Taurus, like I said, it's very calm and composed and graceful, and as it gets closer to Uranus, there could be some excitement occurring in this area of life as well. Moving on to the full moon in Scorpio, happening on May the 12th at 22 degrees of Scorpio. So the Sun and Uranus will both be in Taurus, and opposite will be the full moon in Scorpio. So this is impacting both the 9th and 3rd house axis. So the 3rd house is also the mind. It's about learning, research. It's about communication, intellect, logic, how you communicate, how you move around, as well as your environment, where you kind of travel on a day-to-day basis, the activities you almost do as well on a day-to-day basis. So that area of life is also being impacted, but it seems like, especially with a full moon in Scorpio being a water sign, being a very sensitive, deep, emotional energy, it can bring out a lot of emotions out. And that's something perhaps, being a Virgo earth energy, you're probably a little more detached and not very emotional, but with the full moon in Scorpio, it can definitely bring a lot of deep buried hidden emotions to the surface where you're like, where are these coming from? Well, it's the full moon in Scorpio that is triggering and bringing them out. And this could be a time where you are expressing, or you're having much more deep heart to hearts, or deep felt soul moving conversations, or just a lot of things coming into your mind that are shifting and changing you, or have a kind of a profound impact on you. Not only is this impacting the third house, is also impacting the ninth house. So that has to do with foreign places, travel. It has to do with the mind, expanding the mind, philosophy, spirituality. And there's a lot of freedom involved in here as well, because Uranus is about freedom and independence. So there's something pushing you to kind of bring forth freedom or independence in your life. And also, this is a full moon, so full moons are about endings for new beginnings to occur. It's about releasing, purging, transformation, and also it's about things coming to a conclusion as well. So if you've been waiting for something to come into fruition regarding third and ninth house matters, this may be the time. Now, also with this full moon in Scorpio, Juno and the full moon in Scorpio will be in a conjunction. Juno is known as a goddess of commitment and marriage. That being in the third house, in a conjunction with the moon, being the feminine energy, being this emotional, psychic powerhouse, there could be a lot of transformation in relationships as well. So an intense full moon in Scorpio, bringing out all the shadows, bringing out all the intensity, but always giving us the opportunity to transform something that is not serving us, or emotions that are, lingering around, that need to be addressed and need to really be released and transformed. Let's move on to Saturn, because on May the 24th, Saturn enters Aries. So Saturn will enter Aries, and then it will go into retrograde motion. So it's kind of giving us a sneak peek, a little taste of what we can expect. So Saturn moving into the 8th house. The 8th house is a very deep, intense area of life. There's a mundane manifestation and the more esoteric manifestation. The mundane manifestation being shared finances, resources, intimacy. Then we get deeper into the esoterics, and that's more of the deep, spiritual, soul-digging, spiritual transformation, karma, magic, mysticism. So with Saturn here, Neptune here, a lot of the false layers will be dissolved. All of the illusions and any place and area of life, especially regarding the 8th house or anything you've been trying to escape, that's all gonna come into your awareness now. Any area of life where you've been romanticizing, that being the 8th house for you, or looking from rose-tinted glasses, that will be shattered. Like, you're going to be left with the ultimate truth. You're going to be left with the reality of things. And Saturn, does bring limitations, does bring blocks, does bring a slowing down, only for us to restructure our life and get in tune with the reality of things, and where we need to be more dutiful, where we need to be more committed, where we need to take more responsibility and accountability. So with the 8th house and Aries being the rule of the 8th house, this shows somebody who needs a lot of freedom and independence in this area of life, and you can feel almost very contained with Saturn, where Saturn is not allowing you to move forward. Saturn can almost have the Aries energy on a leash, where it's like, no, you got to go at my pace and then learn certain lessons so that you become like so mature in this area of life, have gained so much wisdom and knowledge in this area of life, and then the rewards will come. So you may feel some tension or frustration in this area of life. Of course, this will depend and vary depending on chart to chart, but that's where the energy is going to be at with Saturn moving into Aries. Now let's move into Gemini and the Gemini energy. So we got the sun changing signs. The sun will be moving into Gemini. We have Mercury moving into Gemini and the new moon in Gemini. All the dates are on the screen. So when we look at the sun in Gemini, that is occurring on May the 20th. And then May the 25th, the Mercury enters Gemini. May the 26th, the new moon happens in Gemini. All happening in your 10th house. So this is career goals, ambitions, how the public perceive you, authority. This could even have to do with parental figure. So there's a lot of energy here. The new moon is a very light-hearted, positive new moon. So there could be a new beginning, new cycle, new chapter, something that manifests in this area of life if you've been working hard. on a certain goal related to your career. This is a time where you can see it come alive and really manifest physically. There's also a lot of travel here, a lot of movement, a lot of conversations, a lot of communication, a lot of networking occurring. So it's a great time for 10th house matters for career, goals, ambitions, a lot of activity, a lot of energy, a lot of ideas flowing, just really a lot of mental energy, a lot of logic, a lot of excitement. However, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction can still bring a little tension and challenge or heaviness. So it kind of reminds you of, duty or responsibility. But nonetheless, this is a positive new moon in Gemini, making a very positive aspect with Pluto, which is in your 6th house. So it can really work well in your favor. So Virgo rising, I'm wishing you all the best this month, and I will speak with you soon.